Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I want to talk about Bobby Drake, Iceman, and how to get him unlocked at 6 stars and get him to tier 2, and then what you can expect from the character and how you should build him with some gameplay and build. So the first thing is that if you're familiar with Sabretooth and Emma Frost's purchase style, you'll be very familiar with Iceman. You have to go into the store, you have to go to Upgrade Acquire, and you have to purchase him for crystals. He's not available any other way. Now the good thing is that you can get him right away at 6 stars for only 2,500 crystals, which is basically the same as purchasing a mega rank up ticket, or it's the same as purchasing like 2.5 uniforms. But you can wait until the end of November this year, Black Friday, when they will presumably discount all of these, which is what they did last year for Emma Frost and Adam Warlock. You can't see Adam Warlock because I already purchased him, but presumably this year they'll be doing it for all of these characters because we've already added Sabretooth and now Iceman. So the first purchase for Iceman is going to look like this. It's going to be 2,500 crystals to purchase him at 6 stars. Once you do that, you will then get the option to purchase more biometrics for 1,250 crystals. Now, once you get him at 6 stars, and a 6-star Iceman could be good because he does have all of the skills that are important. His tier 2 passive, while it's good, it's more defensive than offensive. There's no cold damage here, and we'll talk about why that's important later. But I do think you can make do with a... I accidentally clicked the skill preview. I think you can make do with a tier 1 Iceman. But if you want to get him to tier 2, there are two options. The first option is the kind of painless option, the more expensive option, is to just use a tier 2 mega advancement ticket. I did that because I just wanted to save my crystals for something else. But the more effective way to do it is to purchase his crystal, or purchase his bios with crystals like this. Now, it'll take at least 2 purchases, which is another 2,500 crystals. At most, it'll take another 3 purchases before you get all of his gears to 20, and then you can use a regular tier 2 ticket on him. So in total, that would cost, max 3,750 additional crystals with the tier 2 ticket on top of that, the regular monthly tier 2 ticket. So that is technically still cheaper than a mega tier 2 ticket, but if you don't have any tier 2 tickets, I know I'm saying that word a lot, if you don't have any of these and you have a lot of these, and you don't want to spend the extra 2,500 to 4,000 crystals roughly, then a tier 2 mega ticket is not the worst thing in the world. But that is how you obtain Iceman in the exact same way that you do for Emma Frost and Sabretooth, and I want to do a comparison video on those characters later, but for now, let's talk about Iceman. So Iceman is a pretty interesting character. He has chill on all of his skills, which makes it easy to scale up his damage with a cold damage obelisk. Now the thing is, he doesn't have cold damage anywhere. If you go over to his details page, you can see cold damage is 3%. He's only getting 3% from this chill ability. So I would guess, my guess would be that a double cold damage proc, so something like this, but instead of having guard break immunity, it had cold damage again, would probably be the best thing for Iceman because he just doesn't have any cold damage buffs on his anywhere on his passives. He doesn't have any cold damage buffs on his skills, which is pretty strange. We're going to be trying that obelisk in just a second, but the rest of his build is pretty straightforward. You want to go for Power of Angry Hulk ideally because he doesn't have any attack speed buffs. You could go for Overdrive or Hawk's Eye actually because he doesn't have any native cooldown on his gears, so it was actually quite difficult to get his cooldown to 50%, and it's wow, I'm just all over the place. And it is important to get his cooldown to 50% because he has long cooldown on his skills. So I had to roll cooldown on his 4th gear. I had to also give him one 5-star cooldown Uru just to get that up. So there is something to say about using Hawk's Eye if you wanted to. But overall, I think the character is pretty strong. He has a very high base energy attack, which I think does synergize well with the idea of a cold damage obelisk. For his skills, you definitely want to level up 4 and 5 to, possibly 6, but at least 3. But 4 needs to be leveled up all the way for that buff because he gets 25% crit rate. And then, yeah, the other ones just don't need to be leveled up. He technically doesn't need guard break immunity for PvE content because he has invincibility for 6 seconds, which does give him super armor, and then he also gives himself super armor again for 3 seconds with his 3rd skill. So that immunity is basically immunity plus invincibility because he's getting that super armor anyways, which is kind of a nice touch. And so with 9 seconds of super armor, you can basically have super armor up all the time, so you're never going to get guard broken. But he also has iframes, and he also has a shit ton of crowd control. So before I give him an obelisk, I want to take him into some gameplay for Shadowlands, so you guys can see this is a stage 64 relay, and we're going to just see how he does with my build. He's got 4-star Uru, he's got almost fully awakened ISO 8 set for Power of Angry Hulk. It's like stage 11, but he has no obelisk. So it's going to be interesting to see. In the testing that I did briefly, his 5th skill is really nice, huge AoE, and then it allows you to do his other skills, but you actually do need to combine some auto attacks, which is kind of an interesting change for the character because the cooldown is just too long on his 5th skill. And so if you go through his skills, if you rotate through his skills too quickly, you'll find that you're open for attacks. You can see there that there's kind of like a 1-second gap. And yes, all of his skills are basically cancelable, but you don't really want to cancel them because then you're going to be stuck not having any skills to cast because, you know, 5 and 4 have very long cooldowns. And so, yeah, auto attack Iceman is a real thing. But you can see here that there's basically nothing that Punisher and Blade can do. Not that there's much that they could do anyways against a semi-premium character like Iceman, but between all of the different effects, between the guard break and the freeze and the 5th skill, they're basically just standing there taking all this punishment, and he's just kind of soloing them pretty easily with no leadership. His leadership is just like cold defense, I think, or no, it's skill cooldown actually. His leadership is skill cooldown. So we're on to the next part of this fight. Huge AoE on his 5th skill. That was a bad rotation. Actually, I did 5 into 3, which is not good. It's wasting all the defensive stuff. But yeah, the 5th skill, I think 2 cancel 5 was probably going to be a really nice skill to use for a damage proc. And man, if he could freeze world bosses, I think that would be super OP. But yeah, this is just going along pretty. Just do your skills, and there's nothing they can do because between all of these different CC effects, they're never getting out. And I don't even have to do the 1st skill, but yeah, he can also do the 1st skill. It's got a nice little like refocus where he comes really close to the camera. I really like that. You can see very clearly the kind of ice surfboard that he uses, or the kind of pathway that he makes for himself. But yeah, I would have cleared this with about probably 45 to 30 seconds left with no leadership, with no obelisk. So that's pretty nice. I think it's not bad. I don't really have a metric of measurement for how good that is because I just don't usually clear stages in Shadowland with a character without an obelisk. But now we're going to slap on that cold damage 180 proc. Now I don't think this is the best obelisk for him because, like I explained, I don't think he needs guard break unless you're using him for PvP. I'll try him out in PvP a little bit, but I really do think that the extra cold damage is only at 35% now. I really do think that extra cold damage from another slot would really benefit him. But now, it's actually only a stage 10, but now I want to see how well he plays in World Boss, because that's really where we want to measure these characters. And we're going to go in against a stage 50 Ebony Maw. Actually 50, let's go 55. We were testing Psylocke before at level 70 with a... That's level 70 though. Okay, let's go back down to 50. I lied. We're going to do 50. We're going to do Iceman. We're going to do Cyclops here for the extra bonuses. And then we're going to use Coulson as well, but we're not going to use any strikers. We're just going to throw in Anti-Venom because that's kind of the one thing that Iceman is lacking, is the heal. I wouldn't give him heal on an obelisk or a CTP like Refinement or Regen. I just don't think he has enough HP for it, but definitely for PvE content, Anti-Venom is going to help him out tremendously. So we're going to go ahead here and proc on the 2 cancel 5 and see how much damage that does. Not that impressive. Okay. Use the 1st skill, use the 3rd skill. Okay, we missed the proc there. We're going to have to find a new skill to proc on because 5 just has a very long cooldown. We're procking on 2, which I don't know if I like, but yeah, let's take a look here. Procking on 5. Yeah, I don't see that much damage coming out of the gate here for Bobby at level 60 though. But yeah, he canceled his 5th skill. Wow, that's fun. Good old Ebony Maw canceling your skills. Got hit there. Yeah, it's tough to proc the obelisk, and I just don't see a lot of, well, oh, maybe 4 has a lot of damage. Maybe proc on 4. Oh, maybe. Okay. It's going to take some time to figure out how to use the character kind of precisely, but it seems like 4 does some decent damage, but I'm not too sure why he's doing pretty low damage otherwise. Yeah. Not too impressed right now. We're definitely behind the ball here. We took about a minute and a half to get him down, so stage 50... It's tough for level 60 to do stage 50. Maybe he needs to be level 70. We've had that issue recently where characters, you know, don't seem that impressive at level 60, and then you get them to level 70, and they're like, wow, they're so much better. So it'll be interesting to see just how much better he gets. It seems like his 4th skill is... Oh, I'm gonna die here. Maybe. He moves really fast. I know that's not really why you'd get a character, but he does move really fast. But I'm not too impressed right now, I have to say. And he's a bit harder to keep alive than I would have liked because of the long cooldown on his 5th skill in combination with the fact that his let's try 5 cancel 4. Yeah, I don't know if Ebony is iframing and he's kind of dodging the damage, but I'm just not seeing, like, where is the damage supposed to come from. I've had people saying that Iceman is really good, and I want to believe them, but I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be doing that I'm not. 4 has good damage, but it doesn't last very long. It seems like there's like one hit and then it just goes away. Is this how it's like to play obelisks instead of CTPs nowadays? It just seems pretty bad. I don't know. But we can keep trying here. We can keep plugging away. We might have to lower the level if we were actually going to finish this. I mean, his skills look really cool. They're just not doing enough damage to kind of warrant the Omega level mutant status that he has. That was better. Whoa, what, was that his 2nd skill? Maybe he's like Luna Snow. You want to proc on 2? Maybe you want to proc on 2. He just canceled my 2 skill. Maybe you want to proc on 2. No way. Really? Alright. We can try it. We can try it. Maybe. But 2 moves. I just noticed the 2 skill moves around. That's weird. Alright. Proc on 2, my dude. Seems like it's pretty hard to proc on 2. But there was like a burst of damage there. I'm not really sure what happened. We're obviously running out of time right now, but yeah, maybe proc on 2. Can we get some reports? Proc on 2? I don't know. As far as the CTP goes, I hesitate to say the CTP of energy because he doesn't seem... I mean, he has a lot of chain hit, but it seems difficult to kind of combine those chain hits, if that makes any sense. Because if you do cancel all of his skills together, then you're just left with nothing to actually do. I mean, you could do, like, you know, 5 cancel, 2 cancel, 4 cancel 3. You can do that. But then what are you actually going to cast on later? And that's kind of the difficulty of a character like this who has so many cancelable skills but doesn't have a short enough cooldown to really take advantage of that skill canceling. Yeah, I don't know. So a bit of a question mark here on Bobby. Not my final say of the character, but definitely a more puzzling character. Definitely is going to need more time in the lab. Definitely, I don't know how to play him just yet. Obviously, it's my first time taking it really seriously with a damage proc. But let me know what you guys think of Iceman. Let me know if you have a better build in mind or if you have a better rotation. I think the rotation is really the part that needs the most work right now because I felt like I could be doing a lot more damage, but I just wasn't taking advantage of things enough. I know his 4th skill does give him that all-attack crit rate buff like Thor has, so maybe I just need to prioritize 4, but then I'm not really sure because 4 and 2, if they're doing the most damage, they don't have any protection. 4 has a small iframe at the beginning, but I'm going to have to basically cancel 5, or cancel 4, cancel 5 into 2, or, you know, maybe delay 4 until the 2nd rotation in order to get that buff up all the time. But then how do I protect myself in between? Or maybe we have to leave the 5th skill for the end of the rotation rather than the beginning. I'm not really too sure, but that is Iceman. That's the first look at the character. We'll have to find out more later and, of course, get him to level 70. Let me know what you guys think. Hit me up in the comments down below. Subscribe if you enjoy the content. And, of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again later today or tomorrow. Change my mind. Take care.